All right, welcome to the Todd and Erin, daily stream.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm being poignant. And I have a zit.
I don't think anyone noticed that right until the point that you pointed it out.
I do. So
I don't think anyone
what you
really
do
would
is
have
just
noticed.
do this, and you look like you're thinking. I used to do this in high school, too. But it would look more like this. Because I was covered with pimples. So this is just me being young.
That really is the unfair thing about being an adult. Is like when you still get zits, you're like, okay, wait.
Right.
I paid for this in high school. I did my time as an adolescent.
Or you say,
so unfair.
My hormones are raging. In a good way. Speaking of that.
My goodness.
Speaking of that, this is Todd Goes to the Doctor week.
Yes, it is. It's almost like you're fragile or
something I like to call, how many orifices does Todd have? And evidently, a lot. You know what the hard thing is? The hard thing is when the doctors have someone they're training.
That's the worst.
So
hands down, that's the worst.
Happened at the eye doctor, and he talks about you like you're not there. It's like lean forward. So the assistant is over here. She goes, now as you can notice, because of the age, the eyelashes are pointing down. That's a problem there. We got a polyp over here. We're going to do this. And well, because he's so old. And then
you're like, thank you. This is working great for me so far.
And it's happened twice on my visits. Not like the worst one that ever happened.
You want to share that one, babe?
With an assistant who came in at the proctologist thing. A Russian woman. And I got to tell you, he was a lot more gentle than her. That's all I'm going to say.
You could have said no,
He goes, do you mind if she's... And I thought, well, you're just going to stand there.
You didn't realize there would be activity involved.
I had no idea it was going to be crazy.
Okay.
So there. By the way, our son is here with us. Zach is here, so if we jump in and out.
There might be some rambling.
There might be some rambling and noises.
He's not as quiet as Zoe is.
No, he's not.
Okay, this just amazes me because this reminds me of the CEO of American Eagle, and he had said that he only wanted attractive people to wear their clothes.
I don't know what this story is about.
It's pretty outrageous. But back then it was it was like really the expensive brands, and he said, I only want attractive people to wear our clothes so that we look good. And people were staring at him going, dude, you're like 80 and you're fat, so maybe you shouldn't be telling people with your wrinkly jowly
You just fat shamed him.
Excuse me, I apologize. That was actually very rude.
Make him an idiot. Idiot shame him is fine.
He was mean and jowly and bulldoggy. Forget the weight because that was wrong and I apologize.
Now you're shaming dogs.
No, but what I'm saying is he's a supremely unattractive man, especially emotionally. And he was telling people that you had to be attractive to wear the clothes, and it's like, maybe you shouldn't be the one to do this.
What does this have to do with us?
CrossFit.
Where?
I'm not even going to tell you the CrossFit gym name because I don't want them to get any publicity. But this was amazing that they have a very successful gym. It's down in Lehigh. And CrossFit, as you know, is hardcore. This is like the brutal stuff where they're dragging like tractors and big tires.
They throw the tires and they do this with the ropes.
Yeah, and they're doing all crazy stuff. And women are dragging 27,000-pound men across things.
Right, so they could tow cars for a living by pulling them.
This is hardcore. You're either really invested,
so what's the problem?
Or you're extremely proficient already, or you're really like ready to dive in.
Okay, fine.
So they got an email. They got an email from the gym.
Members.
About 25% of the members, and it said, "Thank you for being part of CrossFit. At this time, we've decided to make large changes to our facility. What it represents.
Maybe they're going to paint.
Closely matches our vision." Vision was, by the way, in a capital V. In light of many things that we wish to change and better, we felt that your future at our facility would not fit in with our new vision and what we want to achieve.
Wait a minute. What?
We've decided to let you further your fitness goals at a facility that can provide you with what you need.
This is like dodgeball.
So basically, they just threw them out of the gym going, you're not part of our vision.
This is like dodgeball.
Which is essentially saying you're not attractive enough or you're not ripped enough to be here. It is like dodgeball. It's like they're White Goodman.
Gosh.
It is like they are White Goodman. I'm serious. And so, and it was funny. She goes, one woman said, we felt like we belonged. We had really good friends and we've been going for over a year. So I was kind of confused. And naturally, it's carefully worded in in the way that, you know, so people were emailing back going, well, I've been paying my dues.
Never missed a payment.
Never had any, you know, never broken any of the rules or anything. And they went, well, no, you just don't fit in with our vision. And so it's pretty clear what they're doing. I've never seen a company that was willing to dump 25% of their revenue.
Wait.
You're not attractive.
Wait. If you feel that you're a little out of shape and maybe a little spongy around the middle, where do you go? You go to a place to work out. Now, I don't go to a gym, as you can tell. But when you go to a gym and you see a goddess or a god figure of oiled muscles and stuff like that, don't you want to walk up and go, hey, you're done?
You can go home and nap.
You can go home and eat
have
pie.
A sandwich,
You've done an awesome job. Now get out. As opposed to, you know, you walk in and you're spongy and that's what you do. You work out and you do the ropes and you turn the tractor tires over.
I want to do half and half. I want people who look like me so that I know that I'm not like, you know, the only ant in this thing of, you know, butterflies, but I would also want people I can look up to and go, okay, I'd like to look like them. But just the concept that they would do that, it's like, you're just not good enough.
I'm going to say who they are.
I guess, don't.
Why?
Because I don't want to give them publicity.
They should be shamed.
And so I guess they interviewed the owner and he refused to talk, you know, on camera or on mic. And he said, well, it's a private business. I can do anything I want. And
yeah, if you're a jerk face.
Okay.
I'm going to say it.
Go for it.
Colossal CrossFit in Lehigh.
And I think their new logo is, you're just not good enough.
Don't. If you're spongy, you're not for us.
Wow, isn't that just amazing, though?
That's why you go to a stinking gym.
I just thought that was so funny, though, because it was just so appallingly written, and just the whole concept of doing it in the first place.
It's like your car's broken. You take it to a garage, and the garage tells you, I'm sorry, your car isn't broken enough. That is hilarious. Zachy, come on out here.
Yeah, that's subtle. Okay,
All right.
I'm going to tell you about Josh Holt while you get Zachy settled.
Maybe do that. I'll get him settled.
Here's his puzzle.
Okay.
Josh Holt, this is pretty intense. We've all been waiting to hear what happened to him because it was such an abrupt release, and thank the good Lord, because it looked like the Venezuelan prison he had been in was taken over, and he was sending desperate messages going, I'm locked in my room. They said they wanted to paint my room red with my blood. I mean, this poor man, like, he hadn't been through enough. So he finally gave a couple of his first interviews, and he said, at the beginning, it was horrible. They put me in a cell that was no bigger than a twin bed would be, covered the door with a plastic bag, which I thought was bizarre. He would just lay on the ground in the cell, sweating, and his cockroaches crawled basically all over him. No bathroom. And it's really scary because when it all started, I mean, you know, he's married to his newlywed wife and they're all happy. The police just came pounding on the door and just came in and questioned him. They were in the tiny one-bedroom apartment. They could tell there's no weapons being hidden anywhere. Questioned him and left, and then came back in a half an hour and arrested everybody. And he said, at first, he says, I was really naive because I'm used to American jurisprudence, and I figured, and it didn't occur to him. And
that this is it.
Frankly, it wouldn't
there
occur
is
to
no
me
judge.
either. And it was interesting. I guess they tried to turn his wife against him and say, hey, just sign this stuff. Yeah. Here's a pre-written form. Just sign it. And
try to scare her.
And God bless her, she refused to do it. So it was amazing. His mom said that primarily it was anger. She said, if I got unangry, I would go into despair and I wouldn't be able to do anything. So she stayed pissed off for 2 years and fought for him. But I just think Gloria is the most amazing mom. But so he's here. They say there's still a few long-term health problems he's going to have to take care of.
Yeah.
Senator Hatch was totally psyched, and Representative Mia Love. I mean, everybody that they had working on their side. But it was just.
That's
cool. It's just such a scary cautionary tale, though, that you literally can be minding your own business, and for whatever motivation.
And where is this? This is in where?
Venezuela.
Don't we get along with them?
Venezuela used to be an amazing country with a very good gross national product, good economy, good
beef.
Everything.
They're known for beef.
Good relationship with the United States and most of the Western countries, and then they got a lunatic, a dictator in charge, and everything just. And one of the first things that happens when you get a bad leader is you start getting bad military, bad police, and things go downhill from there. And this is what happened. For whatever reason, he was targeted and used. And no one's still sure why, because
did they get anything for him?
Of course. What do you mean?
Did they trade off anything?
Nothing that we know of.
Did they get a bundt cake or anything? A fruit pie?
Nothing that we know of. It's interesting.
Interesting,
isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Go to fink-mcgregor.com. You have got to get qualified now for a house, like a mortgage now, before you even try to buy one. And the best way to do this is to find out what you can do with these guys. You answer a few questions, someone calls you back within the next business day and gets you started. Make sure you mention Todd and Erin sent you. Also by Brio Technologies, create an amazing media system, a media wall for your work or your home. These are the guys that can do it. You can buy, rent, they can set everything up. Go to brioaudiovisual.com. And by the New Millennium Financial Group. If you don't know exactly what you're supposed to be focusing on for your future, you're not alone, but this is why they're there. Go to utahsfinancialplanner.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Hello, everyone. Here's what's making news on Wednesday, June 6th on GephartDaily.com. A 4-year-old girl was rushed to the hospital in critical condition Tuesday after she was pulled unconscious from an apartment complex swimming pool near 2100 West and 3100 South. West Valley City police officials said officers were called just after 6:50 p.m. to what was initially reported as a drowning. Upon arrival at the apartments at Decker Lake, emergency personnel learned that the little girl had been seen falling into the deep water by an older child. That child alerted her own father, who jumped into the pool, located the 4-year-old at the bottom of the pool, carried her out of the water and started chest compressions. The child was then taken to Jordan Valley West and then by helicopter to Primary Children's Hospital. Police officials in Ogden are investigating a fatal motorcycle accident that occurred during rush hour Tuesday afternoon. The crash happened just after 4:30 p.m. on Washington Boulevard, just south of 12th Street. According to officials, a woman was driving a motorcycle in the inside lane southbound on Washington when another vehicle hit the motorcycle, causing it to lay down. The driver of the motorcycle was thrown into traffic, where she was struck by a second vehicle. She was wearing a helmet, but suffered fatal injuries. And an 18-month-old died Tuesday evening after being hit by a vehicle driven by a family member in Newton. Officials responded to the incident that occurred in the area of 396 West, 300 South at approximately 6:30 p.m. and administered CPR on the toddler until paramedics arrived. Initial reports indicate the family member was backing up a truck and ran over the child. The toddler was transported to an area hospital and passed away there. And time now for a look at your Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual specialists, and by Magic Wash, home of the long-lasting ceramic car wash with outlets in South Ogden and in Layton. Today is going to hit a cozy 95 degrees in northern Utah. The second half of the week drops a little to the low 90s, and the weekend is going to be very comfortable with temps in the mid-80s. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Millennium Financial.
New Millennium Financial.
Well, the old one was good too, but the new one is even better. There's so many things that come into play when you've got kids. I mean, you've got kids moving out. Maybe you got kids going to college. Maybe you. There's just so much, and so much of your life is changing. Maybe you're an empty nester now, and it's like, what do you do? Should you sell your house?
Is there such a thing as empty nesters anymore? I thought all the kids just lived in the basement.
No, that's what locks are for. And security systems with tasers attached. But you got to figure out what you're going to do. 401k, retirement, all this different things come into play. You got to get them in the right. It's like Tetris. You got to fill in the boxes, make sure you have a foundation, and then you work from there. If you want more information, all you have to do is go to New Millennium.
No, utahsfinancialplanner.com.
That too. So do that. And the new one. Don't go to the old one. The new one's much better.
All right, tell me something good. This is awesome because I saw this on Twitter and it turned into like this adventure where everybody started following the feed.
Okay.
It was from Erin Janoon. She lives in Philadelphia and she's newlywed, has a beautiful wedding ring, and it slid off her finger and went down one of the sewer grates. So and everyone's seen the big city sewer grates where something slides in. It's really deep. God only knows what's down there. Yeah, it. But and she's freaking out. She says this is his grandfather's wedding ring that was engraved with his grandparents' initials and wedding date.
Of course it was.
Apparently they were told nothing could be done until Monday when City Hall opened, so they headed to Home Depot and they started fashioning like semi-fishing pole things with hooks and string and everything.
Could they see it?
Well, the scary thing, though, is that they said, has anyone looked down a grate in Philly before? This one was about 12 feet deep and had a lovely layer of cigarette butts, needles, condom wrappers, cash, credit cards, and even a few sets of keys. Now, by now, this is like Saturday, and I'm following it, just like, what's going to happen now? She goes, we spent the next several hours face down in the grate, searching for his ring at the bottom. Only being there a few minutes, we spotted the ring.
What?
I'm like, we fished it out. We're so excited, and we realized it wasn't it.
It was another ring.
We continued our search, and during the entire time, strangers were coming up to help us. Tourists from Chicago, cab drivers, homeless people, a bachelor party. People laid down in their suits on their bellies trying to help us look.
Oh, man.
Well, finally, a Philly cop walked by, and he stopped and explained the situation. So they radioed in, I guess, to the street
the city, right.
And said, could someone come out? And so sooner, I guess their knight in shining armor, named Brian, pulled up in one of the trucks, donned protective clothing, used his tools to open the grate, and meticulously combed to the area using a searchlight.
Yes.
The minute they say needles, I'd be like, I don't want anyone going down there. So after an eternity, the flashlight hit the spot, gold shiny, and he emerged from below victorious, wedding ring in his hand, and we all cheered. The cab drivers, the tourists on the streets, the Philly cops who had just come to watch how this was going to end. She said that it could have been a horrible, sad, disappointing day, but she said just the perseverance of everybody in the city of brotherly love. She goes, it's never more lived up to it. And there's the hand with the ring.
You're so funny.
But I love the vision of like everybody stopping like, I can totally help. I don't know how, but I'll try.
You know the funny thing is? Mm-hmm. It's never an old crappy ring.
No.
It's never just a
matters
crap ring. It's always grandma's. Always.
It's true.
I've lost a ring before.
Oh, yes, you have.
Shall I?
I think you should.
We went on our honeymoon. Where did we go? Ice fishing. Why? Because it was 10 degrees below zero. Where did we stay? Daniel's Summit. Who came with us? Our friends. So that morning, it was like 10 below, and so the girls, the women...
Susan and I stayed there and ate chocolate cake. We're like, go have fun. We don't care.
Watch movies. And my friend Gary and I went out Strawberry, and we went out, and it was just snowing like a dog. And so we drilled about, I don't know, 10 holes, shallow water, deeper, and it was just going. And when you go, and we didn't have a scoop, so when you use your auger and you make a hole, all the little particles float up, and so you take your hands and you do this,
some people use
and you throw them away like that. Well, my wedding ring, and remember, this is the first morning that we've been married, and I'm doing this, and I'm shaking my hands. My ring was a little bit loose, and the cold water shrunk my fingers. Went
I
like that
engraved
at
on
one
the
point.
inside. It was a platinum wedding ring.
I drove back to the where we were staying, and I looked down, and I went, oh, whoa. So I went and had to tell Erin, and I told her, and she cried. And then I said, I'll figure it out. So
no,
the next
I
morning,
said, I'll call insurance. It's okay.
The next morning, I drove to Heber, and I rented a metal detector. It had snowed all night. I couldn't even find the holes that we drilled. Finally, I saw one, and I'm like, okay.
You all remember how big Strawberry Reservoir is.
Erin had come out to fish that day with Sue, and they were fishing, and sure enough, I found it. So when I did this, it slipped off my finger, and I remember I just walked up and actually put it between my teeth, and I said, give me a kiss, and I was on it, and she was like, oh, and then everything was good.
That really was like the beginning of the Ballad of Todd, because it just keeps going. I mean, there's cowboys around campfires right now just singing the ballads of
That's
Todd.
That's because I screw up first, and then I solve it.
No, it's because it's epic.
If you're in a life raft, you want to be in mine, but I'm also the reason you're in a life raft.
This is pretty true.
That's
pretty much the essence of your character.
That is me. All right, coming up. Oh, Christopher's. Mm-hmm. Really quick. Christopher's Prime Steakhouse. They got chops. They got everything. The side dishes are unbelievable. We have, this is the middle of the week, so you have a chance to go and just share the show. And once you do that, you are qualified. And we pick one at random on Friday, and you and 3 guests go to sit down and have a wonderful meal on us.
Now, it doesn't matter when you're watching because we always pick every Friday, so just share the show. We'll pick someone who did it. And, if you're on Get Part Daily or Get Part approved Facebook pages, just share from there. If you're on the Todd and Erin page, just share from here. And boom, you're entered. It's all you need to do.
The most horrible obituary ever.
Oh, my gosh.
It's coming up next.
We're brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. Just head to fink-mcgregor.com, take 4 minutes to answer some questions, and you'll get a great idea about mortgages that you're eligible for. And by Stayfit Wellness Clinic. Go get a personalized health analysis. This is the time to get back in shape, feel better, feel younger, and without a ton of new medications at stayfitwellnessclinic.com.
The beautifulness of Utah in the spring. Man, it's going to start cooling off, but it's been like crazy hot.
It's really going to cool off? It's been like 100.
No, we're going to have like one more day of this, and then, oh, by the way, if you're watching this and it's November, sorry.
It's June. The obituary. Okay, this is...
Let's go with My Heritage first.
Oh, okay.
My Heritage. If you work with them, the church, you get a free membership to this.
I did not know that.
They work in correlation with the church. And so you can go and find out your ancestry. I believe personally you don't want to shake the tree too hard because monkeys will fall out. And that's just the way my family is. So the International DNA Testing Site, and this is, like I said, is actually runs from another country, but it runs to the church here as well. Mm-hmm. They've been hacked.
Oh, man.
So now,
and how many people have credit cards on file?
No, it's okay with that end.
Oh, okay.
It's okay with that end because they keep that on a third-party site.
Well, that's awesome.
So that's good.
Where does this leave us?
Your relatives are all gone now. It's in Israel. This is where it's based. And so basically they are just saying to everybody, go in and change your passwords and stuff. And they don't even have passwords. They didn't even get anything. So I just think it's funny. They hacked a site where they can't do anything with anything.
We know all of your cousins.
But there's like billions. Okay. There's like billions of you out there. 92 million.
That's amazing.
92 million.
They know all of your cousins. And all of your second cousins. And that guy your mother married.
Right. That disappeared after the robbery at the bank. So they basically, they do. They have all your information about your cousins who moved from New York, into Chicago.
Just nothing financial that would actually impact your real life. So you go, cyber attack in Israel company.
They're pouring through the stuff going, okay, well, wait, she came from Detroit. And so, anyway, I thought that was funny. Worst obituary.
Oh, my good Lord. This is like
ever.
The most awful thing. And I still question why the newspaper printed it because it's that appalling.
Because they were paid. Do you know, if you've ever put something in the paper, an obituary, it's like $600 or $700.
It's insane. That was the prime source of revenue. That and wedding announcements for
and if the longer it is, the more expensive. I mean, it's huge. But these people decided they wanted it out there.
They put some serious cash behind it.
Do you have this or do I?
You do.
Oh yeah, here we go. I did the quotes and stuff for you.
Okay. This is in the Redwood Gazette in Minnesota, and starts with where Kathleen Dremoff was born, names of her family members, and then takes a somewhat downward turn. In 1962, she became pregnant by her husband's brother. Reads the obituary.
Wow, that's the first line. That's an opening.
Adding that she moved to California while abandoning her husband, her children, Gina and Jay, who were then raised by her parents. Then it dives deeper for its conclusion. She passed away on May 31st, 2018 in Springfield, Minnesota, and will now face judgment. She will not be missed by Gina and Jay, and they understand that this world is a better place without her.
Oh, my gosh.
The obituary scathing account. I mean, and those were not like the worst details.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I guess it finishes up with sort of a dubious, Mom, the good Lord loves you more than anyone else ever could.
No. The good Lord loves you because that's the only person who does.
That's what I think what they meant.
Is that where they're going?
Hopefully, they say, you're in heaven now with your Savior, R.I.P.
Well, you know what?
That's really brutal.
Yeah. You ever been to a funeral that no one liked the person? You ever been to one of those?
And they're struggling to go.
And all the siblings step up.
And just struggling like he was tidy.
He was there. He enjoyed slacks.
Made his bed every day.
Okay, next. And the next person comes up and they just...
Just once. Remember that one we had to go to?
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
It was like the worst thing ever. And you can't even look up. You can't even look at each other.
The daughter steps to the podium and starts her speech or her memories with, well, at least.
And then at the end, where the pastor stood up and goes, would anyone like to say a memory? And everyone's looking down like, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't put your hand up, no eye contact, no eye contact.
And there's some people struggling to stand and the others are holding them down. He owes me money.
It was the worst.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my good Lord.
That's funny.
Worst. Maybe, I don't know.
All right, coming up, we've got the new Legos movie.
Now, I had never gotten the whole thing with the Lego movie, and I went, well, okay, the first one that came out, and then it made, like, insane bank, just wild, and everyone ever since has made insane bank. This one's supposed to be just, like, ridiculously, stupidly epic, so we'll tell you about it next. We're brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. Just head to fink-mcgregor.com, take 4 minutes to answer some questions, and you'll get a great idea about mortgages that you're eligible for. And by StayFit Wellness Clinic. Go get a personalized health analysis. This is the time to get back in shape, feel better, feel younger, and without a ton of new medications at stayfitwellnessclinic.com.
Hollywood Connection, brought to you by
Connect Heating and Air.
Mm-hmm.
Go to UtahHeatingandCooling.com. Look, you really do need to service your air conditioner like right now, and they have a $39 special. It will save you hundreds of bucks later on this summer in energy bills.
Legos.
Now, this is really funny.
I want to say Legos movie, but it's just Lego, right? One Lego is a Lego.
The first Lego movie 2 is how it's being called.
Okay.
Because the first Lego movie was the first Lego movie.
Whatever.
But now this is the first Lego movie 2.
So that one was Batman, right?
No, there's other ones besides that. There was Lego movie Django, and there was the Lego Batman movie.
Okay, I'm lost.
This is the first Lego
I just
movie
step on them at night, and that's,
2. Yeah, pretty much.
So they're swearing.
And so I guess the opening goes, Bricksburg is in disarray after the events of Taco Tuesday.
In a world.
But Emmett still thinks everything is awesome.
Emmett thinks it's awesome.
It's very, very funny. And apparently there's a resistance group called the Sewer Babies.
Where a crazy cahoots group tries to save the world.
And the main antagonist is a mini doll from the Lego Friends collection. This is hysterical.
You gotta hand it to them that the writing is decent.
But the weirdest thing about this though is really funny is that they say this is pacing ahead of their expectations for Solo, the Star Wars movie, and you're like, really? Because it's like a Lego movie, and it's like the expectations for this are like wildly high. So funny to see
a ragtag group of heroes.
A lifetime has passed since the horrific events of Taco Tuesday. Our lives descended into chaos. This new life has toughened and hardened us all.
2 copies, please.
I mean, I don't even know how you top this.
That's funny.
Tell me that's not going to be. And Chris Pratt comes back, of course, as the hero, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Just his voice.
He's got 2 because he's got Jurassic
Just
Park
his voice,
coming
right?
out. Yeah, but he's got Jurassic Park coming out this summer too, and he was just barely in Avengers: Infinity War. So it's like he's in the 3 biggest movies of the year.
So
pretty big.
You've been back to Jurassic Park Island twice. Have you learned anything? No. Let me summarize this. If you're ever thinking about going back to a place that kills people twice, don't go.
Well, it's like a bad boyfriend. You keep thinking it'll be better this time.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, it'll be better.
Really?
Because last time was bad.
All right.
This time will be better.
Let's get some information, shall we?
All right. Let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She's brought to you by Fink & McGregor Mortgages by the New Millennium Financial Group. You want to go there and get the right questions asked of you so you can get the right answers back from them. Just go to utahsfinancialplanner.com. Also by StayFit Wellness Clinic. I'm waiting for my appointment today. This is where you actually find out where head-to-toe health can make an incredible difference in your life, and they can focus on special needs kids. They can focus on the elderly, but the point is they don't patch it up with just medication. And by Fink & McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. Just go to fink-mcgregor.com for more answers and an idea of what kind of mortgages that you are available for. And make sure you tell them Todd and Erin sent you. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Thanks, Thanks, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making news in the US and around the world Wednesday, June 6 on GephartDaily.com. 2 members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are listed as missing, and at least 5 others were taken to area hospitals with severe burns following Sunday's eruption of Guatemala's Fuego volcano. The eruption took place 25 miles southwest of Guatemala City, according to a news release from the church. All missionaries are safe, but hundreds of people were evacuated as ash was dispersed over a 9-mile radius, the news release said. Latter-day Saint volunteers are helping with relief efforts in Central America. Medicare's Hospital Insurance Trust Fund is expected to run out of funding 3 years earlier than expected, the program's trustees said in a report on Tuesday. Trustees project the trust fund for Medicare Part A, which helps pay for home and hospital health services for senior citizens, will have its funds exhausted by 2026, at which point it will only be able to pay out 91% of promised benefits. The trustees determined the fund isn't adequately financed over the next 10 years. Its projected income was also lower than estimated in 2017 due to lower payroll taxes attributable to lowered wages for that year. And women are more likely than men to take on student debt to attend college and hold nearly 2/3 of the $1.4 trillion in outstanding student loans in the United States, a report released Tuesday indicates. The organization analyzed data from 2008, 2012, and 2016 and found that on average, women took out more in student loans for each of those to obtain both bachelor's degrees and postgraduate degrees. Of the $1.4 trillion in outstanding student debt, women owe $900 billion and men owe $477 billion. Meanwhile, women earn 57% of bachelor's degrees, but women with college degrees make 26% less than male peers. And time now for a look at the Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's #1 audiovisual specialists, and by Magic Wash, home of the high-tech, long-lasting ceramic car wash with outlets in South Ogden and in Layton. Today's going to hit a cozy 95 degrees in northern Utah. The second half of the week drops a little to the low 90s, and the weekend's going to be very comfortable with temps in the mid-80s. St. George, meanwhile, is hanging out at about the 100-degree mark all week. For more news 24/7, check out GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Exceptionally fluffy.
It is
today.
blondie, isn't it?
Yeah, Daisy's hair is very fluffy
Why
today.
is it so blonde? She washed it.
That's pretty much my whole grooming secret too. I bathed. Yeah, that's good. All right, Stay Fit Wellness Clinic. I'm excited. I get to go up to see Dr. Bowden today. One of the reasons this has been a big deal is because I have this one stupid joint thing that's thrown me off, and it's basically because my foot is not correctly aligned, and so it's throwing off my knee and everything else goes to pieces. And it's funny because it really is a symbolism for everything that happens in your body. One stupid little thing can be off, and then it throws off everything else, and all of a sudden you're miserable, and the doctor will go, here's something to patch that up. You take this medication, because they don't really have a lot of time.
You're not fixing the problem.
Yeah, they don't have time to sit down, though. They're
Right.
they got a schedule. But Dr. Bowden sits you down and he goes through your whole history. He goes through what you're feeling, what you're doing, all your symptoms, gets some ideas, and then he does a head-to-toe fitness plan. Because he wants you to be well. I mean, he wants your whole body to be well, not just to patch up one little problem. And once he does that, then it's an unbelievable difference in how you feel. And the nice thing is that they've also done some really intriguing work with kids with special needs. They have some amazing ideas for people who are just in like the 30s and 40s, where you're starting to feel that age thing creeping up. So why not go in now and actually get healthy, like all the way? This is what they can do for you. StayFitWellnessClinic.com if you want to schedule a consultation.
I saw this in the news.
This is very sad.
And I know a lot of women who identified with her, as far as Kate Spade, by the way.
Kate Spade is one of my heroes. This is my Kate Spade bag. I have had this for...
Ever.
15 years?
Yeah.
And this is like the mom bag, but it's still cool and still fashionable. And this thing has been through craziness, and it's still, of course, beautiful.
Now she committed suicide, and they found her.
It makes me heartbroken. They found her dead Tuesday in her New York City apartment. Kate Spade's sister said that it was not unexpected. I guess that she had been battling depression for a long, long time. And the thing that's so heartbreaking about it is that she was amazing. Like for a lot of grad school students, she used to give them free purses and stuff to take to job interviews so that they would look cool and they would look good. There was one reporter who talked about going to interview her, and she realized to her horror that she had her knockoff Kate Spade bag with her because she couldn't afford a good, real one. And Kate Spade had noticed it, and Kate sent her a package the next day with a real bag. I mean, she was known for being so kind.
Well, I also, in reading about this, she also made things affordable. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, designers, were like way out.
Yeah, luxury brands were like, we're not going to do anything for the rest of you, meaning us. And she was amazing for that. But so I guess the biggest thing that everybody's been pushing is they were asking you to share memories of your Kate Spade bag, mine. Oh, but they also wanted to push, please make sure that if you know someone who's like this, make sure that we all reach out and we take care of each other.
Put up that.
And they say that if you're having feelings, that a lot of times hearing somebody else's story can spark those emotions in you again, suicidal thoughts. Please, 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 please write down these numbers. If you know somebody who you think might need them,
share the show.
Please, 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 please share them. It's extremely important. And her family was saying, we would really like this to have some meaning. And they said, please remember to reach out to each other and be there. So
it's really sad that they said this is not a surprise.
It's heartbreaking.
Isn't it? Mm.
It just goes to show you that you can be so beautiful and so gifted and so amazing, but we all battle with a mental illness, and I think if you're not honest about it, this is what crushes people. So please share the suicide hotline, the crisis hotline, if you feel like you know someone who needs it.
If you ever wanted to live in a place where maple syrup was on tap and like unicorns.
Is that like possible?
We have the stories coming up.
Maple syrup, like always available?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. I know.
Next.
We're brought to you by Connect Heating and Air. Go to UtahHeatingandCooling.com for their $39 air conditioner tune-up special. Some care now could make the difference in hundreds of dollars of energy bills this summer. And by New Millennium Financial Group. Take your feeble financial health back to a more robust position with a consult with New Millennium Financial Group. They're offering a complimentary financial analysis to get you started at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
So when I say the words Vermont, what do you think? What do all of you? What do you think about? Erin?
One of my favorite people, Augusta, is from Vermont. There's a lot of farmhouses and pastoral-looking fields. Mm-hmm. There's ice cream because of Ben and Jerry's. There's probably lush forests and green covered belts,
bridges,
things,
mills on the sides of beautiful streams.
Mm-hmm. It really is considered very beautiful, but cold.
It's got ski areas, but little ones, which are quaint. And now Vermont is going to pay you to move there.
It's like one of the coolest states. They really have to encourage people to move there?
And here's the thing.
Really?
You could live anywhere in the state. You don't have to live in a metropolis. If your dream is to be in a cabin someplace, you can do this.
I don't like how your eyes are lighting up.
Yeah, and they will pay you $10,000. What do you think the requirement would be?
This is like such an interesting offer because we've seen like tiny towns in Italy do this and
Nova
Scotia, but
they're running out of people.
But Vermont is like a cool state. I would not picture that being an issue to get someone there. For God's sake, they have Ben and Jerry's there. Why wouldn't you want to move there?
And you put syrup on top.
I know.
And then you die.
I don't care. I'd die happy.
The estimated amount of people who live there is 623,000 people. That's it.
In Vermont?
Yes.
They have less than 1 million people?
We have almost 2 here, right?
We have 2.5.
But that's just like right here. That's not in the state. I guess the rest died off from the winters.
Or they're frozen in place. They haven't found them yet. But
the U.S. Census took in 2017.
That's small.
So what do you think the secret is? What is the qualification? A lot of times you have to have a certain amount of money. You have to start a business. No, you just can't take anyone's job.
Interesting.
The deal is...
We'd like you to have a pulse. That's a plus.
We'd like you to come in, but don't take anybody's... And they're looking for younger people. How does this work? They're going after people who work for companies that will be outside Vermont and are satellite workers that they can work from home. So they're not going to take anyone's jobs, but they're bringing their tax base into the state. Have you ever heard of that? No.
It's probably fairly progressively thinking, because a lot of the tech jobs are like that.
Younger
now.
people, right?
Yeah.
30 and below, or
some
35.
You're from Massachusetts and Maine. We used to go all the way through there and see these beautiful old farmhouses with the attached barns and stuff. And we're like, what can we do to make a living so we can live here? But they were always fairly rural, And so you're thinking, well, I couldn't really drive into a town. But if you've got something like this and you could be a satellite worker, you could get some totally boss farmhouse.
So you could live.
And with cows and stuff. I don't know. I mean,
suddenly we got cows. Awesome.
Well, I think there should be a cow.
I think it's a really interesting thing.
That's
I've never
really cool.
I've never heard of that before.
Or
I was thinking,
podcasters.
We'd still love you, but we'd have a cow on the show every single day.
You would love the cow.
So we can make ice cream and cover it with syrup.
All right, finish up with this video, because this is the best video of the entire month. I called Colby, but the minute I saw it on Twitter, I said, you have to let us use this. This is his video. I said, you've got to let us, please let us do this. He goes, yeah, go ahead.
Wait. You're going to see the following 3 things, and I won't say how they're
pick up the copy
how they're intertwined. You really don't. You really don't need any of this. The guy was walking home. He saw struggling in a pond. So we got a unicorn, a turtle, and a gosling. And he saw what was going on. He went to his brother's house. He grabbed the first thing he could find. We're going to say goodbye now. We'll see you tomorrow on the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. Here is what happened.
It's art. Enjoy.
A little baby goose caught in the little, there's the gaggle over there. Okay, what's the problem, Carrie? It's a snapping turtle. Oh, geez. Okay. So does he have the turtle?
You boys make us proud.
Oh, they're welcoming him home.